Hello guys, so we're back on the road to 10 million. Episode number, I don't know. I think we're on episode 6, but what I want to talk to you guys about today is basically what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, not what, your mind hopes to hear, but what you really actually need to hear. And sometimes the things that we want to hear or we don't want to hear, we try to stay away from. We try to stay away from the things that make us uncomfortable or things that we don't necessarily want to hear at all. And what I'm going to walk you guys through is kind of the mindset that you need in order to be successful, in order to be, thinking of these big numbers and how you're possibly going to get there. It's like you're standing at the bottom of a mountain looking all the way up at this big peak, like climbing Mount Everest, but it's going to take a lot longer than that. So you have to realize that everything that you do is extremely important. Every single action you take, every step you take, it's extremely important. And I have this dog running over here, so we're gonna turn right around. But you guys have to realize whatever you do and the way you act and, take certain steps, make certain decisions is extremely important for every single aspect of your business. If you're just running a business, making stupid, careless decisions, stupid, careless mistakes, you're just going to continue to repeat that until you actually learn. And sometimes even when people learn, their business still ends up failing just because of the simple fact that they don't correct their mistakes. So if you want to be able to necessarily scale your business, we'll just say to the first million or 2 million, you have to be able to put systems in place that are going to help you scale. You have to be able to learn from the right people, take knowledge from the right people about what is it that I need to implement, what is it that I need to do. And here's where we'll get into a lot more of the important things. So I want you guys to think of every single action you take that's, big or small, and think of your mindset as you have this little book or itinerary in your mind, whatever you want to call it. Some people could call it the cookie jar, some people call it all this different kind of things. But the main point is that you have to realize that for every action you take, whenever another opportunity comes to take maybe an action similar, maybe a decision similar, you're gonna subconsciously remember the last decision you chose. That's why over a long period of time, it becomes a lot harder for people to break the cycle that they're stuck in, and they don't become successful at a later age on in life because they've been programmed for so long with these bad habits, implementing bad things, making bad decisions that sometimes they don't even know how to switch or necessarily make that change that's required in order to become successful, in order to grow the business that they need to grow. So that's where the difficulty comes in, is if you don't know how to come to that realization and break off that certain portion in your life that's holding you back in business and all these different things, then ultimately what's going to happen is it's going to spread like a virus, and it's going to be harder and harder and harder to beat. You could be lazy, and it might take you a long time to realize that until you see other people working way harder than you. You could be, scared of a few things in business. Oh, I'm too scared to invest this much. I'm too scared to do this much. Maybe you don't have an abundance mindset. Maybe you don't have the mindset that you want to have. And the only way to actually overcome these things and actually, quote unquote, get to the best version of yourself, which most people don't talk about, is by cutting out all these bad habits, cutting out all of these bad things that might not be very easy for you to cut out. And it's not going to be easy at first, because you're basically changing and readjusting the way you live, the way you think, the way you operate. But this is what is literally necessary in order for you to become successful. There was some older man who said this, and it was a great quote. I think his name is Jim Rohn or something like that. And he said that he was a millionaire at 31, and then at 33 he lost everything. And what he realized through that process is that the most valuable thing was who he became throughout the process to get the money. And once he threw all those habits that he basically gained and attributes that he gained out of the window, that's when everything started to fall apart. So the person that you become throughout your journey, the person that you become throughout all the effort that you're putting in on a day-to-day basis, that is what is most valuable. Even though it might not seem like it. Most of you probably think in your head, oh, I go to the gym, I run a business, I'm working on trading, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But you think in your head, oh, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm not making 100K a year, I'm not making 200K a year, I'm not making 300K a year, I'm not even making 1K a day. 1K a day is way more than 300K, like 360K. But the point is even a few hundred a day, most of you aren't even making that. And you have the wrong mindset. What you need to be realizing is that you're planting the seeds that are necessary in order for you to grow. A lot of these people who have all this money, all this, success, it took them years and years and years of hard work, consistency, difficulty. The journey is not easy by any means. You're gonna have times where you sprout up, and you're gonna have times where everything falls apart. And that's just the reality of business. Things do not go straight up. There's a lot of times, especially I'm nowhere near it's like I feel like I've planted one seed in my life toward business, because I know that there's so much more. And